I'll discuss pornography now. Henry Bergson was one of the early theorists of philosophy that began to explore cinema. And he immediately perceived the biological metaphor that has been projected into cinema. So if you go to Harvard Medical Journal and ask the question, do they believe in safe and healthy recreational human intercourse? The debate about cinema takes a second form, because if there is such a thing as healthy intercourse, then there therefore is no inherent moral, absolute anti-value that attaches to pornography. It's just a question of whether it's healthy or unhealthy. Now, what the fascists in cinema have argued is that it's immoral to have love except in the chivalric mode of wedlock with one person, one-on-one relationship, while simultaneously pushing a lampoon of the matter to set up people as lemmings in self-destruction during the pornographic genocide that they authored. And my position on that is that if these issues exist in culture, particularly if we're being attacked by an enemy within by them, then they should be discussed up front. In other words, if Governor Jay Inslee is going to start massacring people because they don't keep their hands off each other, then he should have the dignity to say without reserve, if you don't keep your hands off each other, I'm going to massacre you, and we'll have a vote. Well, they don't want to do that. And they created a pornographic genocide, as you know. Now, they claim it's a spiritual matter, so the right to privacy is voided, that they're protecting the Commonwealth from various interpretations of their frozen neurocoma. Various interpretations. And the evidence against Attenborough in this battle of the magicians, as Gurdjieff called it. He was, by the way, a Mason from the Soviet Union who came to France and meddled with Diaghilev, who was working with everybody, Freddie Luigi, D'Annunzio, Houdini, Uspansky, Prokofiev, Sergei Eisenstein, Disney, in planning what Lenin pulled. And they want to use Lenin as the saint from the blaze, from the cinders, who announces the sword of Excalibur of England against all forms of immoral intercourse. It doesn't work out very well, logically. So McCartney and Tone's people are weird. They recognize that there's important people and unimportant people. They have preference to be ruled by England, by the invisible hand of the psalmists. They prefer the Japanese sadist to the American ethical rationalist. Not that it is immoral, but get as kid can, and you cannot, because we will inject you, son. And this is what Tacoma is calling moral. A threat to inject somebody who they're finished using sadistically as a hostage of their slave trafficking. So it's important when you look, if you feel very sincerely that pornography is immoral, that's a human position that can be defended. It really can be defended. You can defend that position. And many people would dignify it, and I don't see any reason to lampoon it. And one of the things that it is, in fact, good with is that people have the right to privacy, that it's a spiritual matter, and that's meant within the wedlock of people who are lovers. And when you go back to the 50s, they started having living in sin and all of this stuff. And the enemy within was the satanic ritual of abortion. Well, it'd be very difficult to teach that abortion is a satanic ritual in public schools. But I don't see why you can't teach that there are factions who believe the abortion is a satanic ritual and give their reasons. So it's important to understand that the people who are protesting paranoia about pornography as being proof that it's safe should be advised that the people who don't feel it's safe have lampooned them with a very treacherous attack and agenda. They don't oppose abortion enough to prevent its use through the form of attack prostitution to manufacture a sacrificial icon that they spurn as liberalism, who they battered half to death. Now, in my opinion, Harvard Medical might be the group who are most well advised. What they did was they stuffed a poison in my features, a trauma. And they said, this is the trauma in the womb. And they Svengali'd that to justify genocide because they could get away with it. And these are the attachés of Mussolini, Hitler, and Reagan at work in Axis Hollywood, and they've been here all the time. Gurdjieff conceived the struggle of the magicians in 1917 or so. So what you need to do is focus on the topics in this tape, bring them to light, and discuss them openly. Because what they're getting away with is sabotage of everything: health, education, media, dignity. They're building a world where everybody's boiling mad because that's their gift. They're very gifted at getting people boiling mad. And then they dare you to fight them. It's important to know when you're just being provoked. And when it comes to Tacoma's attitude about pornography, I'm just being provoked.